All right, let's talk about something that's all around us, something we use pretty much every single day, conversational AI. We're going to dig into how our devices actually learn to understand us and, talk right back. I mean, really stop and think about it for a second. You mumble a question at your phone and poof, an answer just appears. It feels a little bit like magic, doesn't it? But what is really happening under the hood in that simple little chat? To figure that out, we've got to pull back the curtain. Because when you talk to your tech, it's doing a whole lot more than just hearing the sounds you make. And that's really the key to all of this. What feels like straight-up magic is actually a super clever, very carefully designed method. So let's break that method down. The whole thing is run by what you could call the brain of the operation. And the official term for this brain is conversational AI. So yeah, that's the big umbrella term. It's any tech that lets you and me have a normal, human-like chat with the machine using our own words. No code, no weird commands, just talking. So how does this brain actually, think? Well, that thinking process all starts with this core piece called a dialogue system. Think of it as the engine. It's the part that's really powering the whole conversation and pushing it forward. And this is where you can see how far we've come. An old, simple bot would just spot a keyword like weather and spit out whatever generic report it had. But a modern dialogue system, it's way smarter. If you then ask, what about tomorrow? It remembers you were just talking about the weather. It holds on to the context. And that right there is a total game changer. This means the system is doing this incredible juggling act all the time. It's trying to figure out what you really want, your intent. At the same time, it's keeping track of everything that's already been said. And while it's doing that, it's also grabbing info or doing a task. Only then can it put together a reply that sounds like a real person. It's a seriously sophisticated balancing act. Exactly. This really hits the nail on the head. The system isn't just hearing words, it's trying to figure out the purpose behind them. When you say, I'm hungry, its job isn't to tell you the definition of hungry. Its job is to help you find some food. That's the goal. Okay, so if the dialogue system is our engine, well, an engine still needs a map to know where to go. And this is where designers come in. And their job is to map out every possible conversational path. And honestly, the best way to picture this is to think of those old choose-your-own-adventure books. Every single conversation you could have with an AI is like a pre-planned story, where designers have tried to guess every single choice you might make. Now, the simplest version of that story is just a straight line. You say you want pizza, it asks for toppings, you say pepperoni, it confirms. Easy. Designers call this the happy path. It's where everything goes exactly according to plan. But let's be real. When do our conversations ever go that smoothly? We're messy. We interrupt, we forget things, we change our minds halfway through a sentence. So what happens then? And this is where a really well-designed system proves its worth. It doesn't just crash and burn. It branches. The choose-your-own-adventure story just has a different page ready to turn to. So look at this in action. The user starts off, I want pepperoni. But then they interrupt themselves. Actually, wait. A great AI doesn't freeze. It just pivots smoothly. No problem. What would you like instead? And now we're on a new path heading towards a cheese pizza. Every single one of those possible turns had to be designed ahead of time. So why get so obsessed with mapping out these conversations? Why does it matter? Well, because getting this flow right is what makes the difference between a clunky, basic tool and a truly smart, helpful assistant. And the scale here is it's staggering. We are talking about billions, with a B, of these AI conversations happening every single day. Billions. Between customer service, our voice assistants, all the chatbots in our apps, this isn't some tiny niche thing. It's a huge part of our world. And for us, this is what it all boils down to. A good flow is everything. We've all been there, right? Stuck in that automated loop, screaming at your phone because it just keeps saying, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. That's a flow failure. It's a dead end in the map. The difference in how it feels is just night and day. Without good flow, you feel frustrated, the conversation is just repetitive, and you probably won't even get what you want done. But with a good flow, the conversation feels natural, you get what you need, and maybe most importantly, you feel like you are actually understood. And that brings us right back to the beginning. That little moment of wow, that feeling of magic when your device just gets you. It isn't really magic at all. It's the result of some seriously thoughtful, empathetic, and incredibly complicated design work. A map of conversations drawn out just for you, which leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. As these AI systems get better and better, and these conversation maps become almost infinitely complex and nuanced, where do we draw the line between a really, really smart tool and something that starts to feel more like a companion?